This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Well, the Donna Adelson case is starting to heat up a little bit. Will we make it to trial on the selected date? Well, anything can happen, and a lot has happened. We're no longer talking about some cold case whodunit here. We're talking the home stretch, and Donna Adelson is barreling toward trial with that freight train of evidence about to hit the courtroom and possibly flatten the last line of defense this family has left. We are going to go into the case against Donna Adelson, what's going on, what some of these new motions are meaning, exactly what happened, what it all means, and what's next in this case. To recap quickly, in case you're new to this, Donna Adelson, she's 74. She's accused of helping to orchestrate the 2014 murder of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel, a Florida state law professor. The state alleges that she was part of a conspiracy that included her son, Charlie, who's now serving a life sentence, being part of all this conspiracy. And the hitman, already convicted, that's a different guy. Charlie paid his girlfriend to pay the hitman. The money they're alleging came from Donna, and that's how this is starting to... There's a lot of things. Lots of moving parts in this case. And the woman whose husband it is, or ex-husband it is that had the hit, she's free as a bird, charged with nothing. Maybe she didn't know anything about this. But you got to wonder, did you ever wonder if your family was this evil? if you didn't know that they're... It's a web of payments, cover-ups, and lies that stretch from South Florida all the way to Tallahassee. But while the backstory is wild, we're not here to rehash 9 years of history. There's a lot of that on our channel. You can go back and you can find it. Just search Donna Adelson here on the Hidden Killers podcast, and you will find a gazillion things about her. So we're here to talk about what's landing in that courtroom as evidence when the jury selection begins coming up on August 19th. So let's start with the most explosive piece. And I want to hear what your thoughts are in the comments too on YouTube. So please do let me know. The one-way flight to Vietnam. Donna was arrested at Miami International Airport with a suitcase packed and a visa in hand, heading to a country with no extradition treaty, just days after Charlie's conviction. The state's going to hammer this like Thor in a hardware store. Consciousness of guilt, check. Attempted flight, check. Panic-induced Google search for countries that don't extradite, probably in her browser history. She wasn't jetting off for spring rolls and sightseeing. She was allegedly running from justice. And let's not pretend she was just tagging along on a vacation. The prosecution has receipts, literally, tickets, visa applications, communications. It wasn't some spontaneous getaway. It was premeditated, intentional dodgeball. And the state will likely urge and argue that it's one of the clearest indicators that Donna knew the hammer was coming down. Then there's the jail calls between Donna and Charlie, recorded after Charlie's arrest and conviction. These calls are damning and so did not need to happen. Not because of some Scooby-Doo style confession, but because of what they imply. Coded language. And, if you haven't had a chance to go listen to these, go listen to these. We have them also up on our channel. That might just be some fun little ones to bring back for some popcorn some night. Nervous jokes, Donna's own bizarre phrases, like something out of a discount mob movie you find at the dollar store that surprisingly is still on beta, and they're selling it at the dollar store. It's like, this actually might be worth more than $1 now. One such phrase: we would have already gone to the airport. Oh, really, Donna? That line didn't age well, especially once you actually tried to go to the airport in 2023. The jury won't have to speculate. These aren't paraphrased summaries. They'll hear her voice, her tone, her cadence. And when that voice wavers under pressure or slips something too close to the truth, it's not going to sound like a grieving grandma. It's going to sound like someone who knew far more than she's ever admitted. Then the undercover FBI bump operation. That was a big thing. The sting, straight out of The Americans, only less subtle. Back in 2016, agents staged an extortion drop and captured audio of Donna and Charlie discussing what they framed as a threat from someone demanding money. Instead of saying, let's call the police, the conversation wandered into dangerous territory. Donna was recorded saying something to the effect of, it's the kind of thing you can't undo, and we would have already gone to the airport. Sound familiar? It was in those lines. Prosecutors will say this shows Donna wasn't panicked. She was prepared to run, prepared to pay, and allegedly prepared to stay quiet. Another major nail, raw cell phone extraction data from Donna's seized phone. The defense tried to stall or suppress its release, citing privacy concerns and procedural issues. But as of June of 25, it's fair game. Prosecutors believe this treasure trove could contain text, calls, location pings, and detailed or deleted data that paint a picture of premeditation, coordination, and post-crime damage control. They're not looking for a smoking gun. They're looking for a breadcrumb trail Donna may have left behind in her digital life. Also, lining up to testify, 3 convicted co-conspirators. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the courtroom, Luis Riviera, Sigfrido Garcia, and Catherine McBonna. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to Jerry. Each have their own motive to cooperate. Each carrying a firsthand account of what happened when and allegedly who gave them the orders. These aren't just filler witnesses. They're the bones of the plot, the ones who executed the plan. And if any of them put Donna in the room, metaphorically or literally, the impact on the jury could be devastating. But perhaps the most dramatic of all of this is the alleged plot to silence witnesses from behind bars. According to law enforcement affidavits disclosed earlier this year, Donna and her husband, Harvey, were caught discussing potential efforts to deal with witnesses who might testify against her, allegedly, including, disturbingly, their own estranged son, Robert. Yes, you know, that Robert, the one that shows up to Thanksgiving, brings not a turkey, not a side, but a ham. We don't have hams at Thanks. I'm kidding. I know nothing about Robert, but I do applaud him for getting as far away from that family as he possibly can. You saw the light. Bravo to you. Prosecutors won't need to establish that one. It sounds villainous enough on its own. Whether it makes it past pretrial motions remains to be seen, but even the whiff of it could taint everything, like that ham. Yeah, and a lot of other things that she has in her defense. Speaking of testimony, let's talk about the wild card, Wendy Adelson, Donna's daughter, Dan's ex, immunized witness, fiction novelist, and possibly the most reluctant truth teller in the courtroom. She testified during Charlie's trial, but this time her mother is the one on the line. Prosecutors will try to squeeze new truths from her, or at least expose contradictions in her old ones. And they'll absolutely bring up her novel, a fictional tale that eerily mirrors her real-life divorce, relocation struggles, and power dynamics. It's less eat, pray, love, and more how to lose a husband in 10 years. And while we're at it, don't overlook the financial trail. Prosecutors plan to introduce over 130 exhibits, including checks, bank records, and dental office payments allegedly funneled to McBonna. Donna's financial fingerprints might not be on the gun, but they're allegedly all over the money that paid for the trigger. So, what does all of this mean in this case? Well, the trial's a referendum on more than one murder. It's about control. It's about entitlement. And it's about whether a wealthy, educated family thought they could outmaneuver the justice system for over a decade. The fight to Vietnam will be painted as more than a bad look. It'll be framed as Donna's confession in action. She didn't say, I did it. She showed it with a visa application and a carry-on bag. Every juror has seen enough true crime shows to know that people who flee rarely do so for innocent reasons. The jail calls, they're not just conversations. They're windows into the mindset of someone trying to maintain narrative control, even as the world burned down around her. Every pause, every carefully chosen euphemism will be dissected in court, and every eye in the jury box will be watching how she reacts when they're replayed. Wiretap bump up. It's the kind of thing that prosecutors dream about. Spontaneous, unscripted, and riddled with ambiguity makes the jury lean forward and wonder, what are they hiding? Donna didn't sound panicked. She sounded prepared, calm, calculating, allegedly. And don't underestimate the witness tampering angle. Even if not admitted as direct evidence, it casts a long shadow. Jurors may hear testimony from witnesses who feared for their safety, who claimed they were threatened or offered money. The kind of testimony colors everything else in the case. And if it turns Donna, that's what I'm trying to say. It turns Donna from allegedly being a co-conspirator to a potential puppet master. I guess you have to say it and do that action at the same time. Puppet master. Kind of get the shivers. And I'm thinking of the NSYNC album when I'm getting the shivers too. Maybe it's that the Lou guy that was managing them back then. The creep. Yeah. Wendy's role also cuts both ways. If she testifies with icy detachment, she risks looking complicit. If she breaks down, it might be the prosecution's emotional linchpin. Either way, Donna's own daughter is being called against her. The optics of that aren't great, even if the defense claims it's all strategy. This isn't about proving Donna Adelson loaded a gun. It's about showing she built the scaffolding for a murder. She built this city. She built this city on rock and, Then she handed off the blueprints and smiled while someone else did the dirty work, and then tried to sweep up the mess when it got too loud. If the jury buys that, that's more than enough for a conviction. So what is next? Well, jury selection supposed to begin August 19th, at least as of this recording. This has changed quite a bit. And you better believe it's going to be a psychological minefield. The defense is still hoping to get the trial moved out of Leon County, claiming media saturation has poisoned the well. But unless you can find a juror who's been in a cave for 10 years without Wi-Fi in that part of the country, that argument's running out of steam. Once the trial kicks off, it'll move fast. Prosecutors want to hit hard and early. Expect the first few days to be all about intent. Why Donna would want Dan Markel gone. What stood there for her to be gained. And how that desire allegedly turned into action. From there, the state will walk the jury through every breadcrumb, wire transfers, conversations, interviews, recordings, timelines. Every recording will be played with surgical timing. Every witness will be vetted, exposed, and either solidified or shredded on cross. Donna's attorneys will be trying to paint her as a mother caught in a whirlpool that she didn't create, but it'll be hard. It'll be hard to do that. And so when the prosecution's narrative is as strong as it is, and it suggests that she was the one spinning the whirlpool in the first place, expect at least one of two shocking moments. Unexpected testimony, an emotional breakdown, a text message that lands with a thud. Trials like this don't go quietly, not when they've been simmering for over a decade, and certainly not when the stakes are this high. If convicted, Donna faces the rest of her life in prison. No parole, no retirement home, just the closing chapter of a case that's haunted the Tallahassee's legal world for years. If acquitted, She walks. The narrative of the Markel murder shifts once again, leaving one of Florida's most bizarre murder sagas still, well, it's not really unsolved, but just who all was in on this? One thing is for sure. When that courtroom opens and Donna Adelson takes her seat at the defense table, it won't just be a trial. It'll be the final act of a decade-long drama. Or will it? Or will this just be the very beginning of more convictions in the Adelson family? Time will tell. Time will tell. No one else has been charged as of this time, and everyone, including Donna, is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube. If you're not on our YouTube channel, if you're listening to the podcast, please do check us out there. Just search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, and you can join us there. And jump in on all of that with us. We do greatly appreciate it. It's a crazy case. I'm hopeful the trial's going to start here in August, but I don't know. They've been finding so many ways to inch this thing back. Nothing, honestly, would surprise me at this point. But when it gets there, it's going to be something. It really is. Until next time, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.